Exercising empathetic awareness. The best term I can think of to describe the relationship that a truly caring teacher hopes to establish with his students is empathetic awareness. Empathetic awareness involves a teacher being alert to the needs, hopes, aspirations, self-doubts, joys, and fears that are being experienced by the young people in his class. Only then can the teacher respond by providing what the social and emotional well-being of his students requires. Empathetic awareness embodies the principles that drive the ARC for Teachers process. An educator might be a good instructor and a brilliant communicator, but she will not be a great teacher unless she is empathetically aware. Empathetic awareness has three primary functions in the classroom. Empathetic awareness alerts teachers to student need. Empathetic awareness helps teachers to ascertain when the problem isn't the problem. Empathetic awareness compels teachers to provide students with unconditional love and care. Let's examine each of those functions. Empathetic awareness alerts teachers to student need. When students are encountering difficulties at home or school or with their social lives, many of them will act out those feelings. They yell, curse, punch walls, throw things, and provoke verbal and physical fights. That is not the case, however, with a lot of kids. They internalize their feelings and manifest them by being sullen, withdrawn, or depressed. It is easy to keep tabs on loud, outwardly expressive students. A teacher can spot them in the hall, pull them aside, and say, "Jeremy, what's wrong? You're not acting like yourself. I heard you yelling a few minutes ago, and I understand that you bruised your hand yesterday punching your locker door. What's up?" It's the quiet ones that are worrisome. Their feelings are harder to detect, and a student may reside in a state of depression for a couple of years before someone notices and responds. This is where empathetic awareness can play a huge role. Sometimes, empathetic awareness needs to be announced. A teacher can let her students know that if any situation arises where an empathetic adult can be of help, the teacher is available. She can tell the class, "You and I know there are some kids on this campus who are in trouble. Not in trouble because of any misbehavior. The problems they are experiencing are within themselves. Some of them are lonely, scared, and angry, and they have not been able to let those feelings out. And I can guarantee you that those feelings will emerge one day, and likely in a way that could be tragic for all of us. If you know any kids who could use a good conversation with a caring adult, please let me know. Unless it is something where I think there's a possibility of you or someone else getting hurt, I promise you that anything shared with me will be kept confidential. So if it's you, come see me. If it's somebody you know, please make me aware. I'll figure out a way to make the connection, and you won't have to get involved at all. I'm just letting you know I'm here for you. If you have a good relationship with your students, there's a good chance some of them will respond to that invitation. They will quietly tip you off if they see potential trouble brewing, whether it is with a group of kids or a tragic, troubled individual. Much of the time, however, exercising empathetic awareness is a solitary pursuit. It requires you watching kids, listening to them, and perceiving where there is hurt behind the darting eyes and the forced smiles. These kids are not going to come to you. You will have to go to them. Empathetic awareness will help you recognize the signs such as anger, depression, sadness, and social isolation. We are not talking about young people who ought to be sitting in a psychiatrist's office. Not yet. We're referring to students who could go either way with their lives. If they are resilient, they will probably survive their feelings of anger and rejection and emerge emotionally and psychologically intact on the other side. Other kids who do not have the support of a caring, empathetic adult may take a different path. They will just give up and die inside, resigning themselves to lives of bitterness and regret. A few will react violently, and all the metal detectors and campus security in the world will not prevent them from expressing their rage. But right now, they're just kids, and they need to talk and be heard and have a safe place to vent their feelings. Some kids you will want to refer to the school counselor or social worker. For others, all they need is for an adult to listen without judging or shaming them, and you'll do just fine. Remember in earlier lessons where we talked about active listening, where you quietly listen and then repeat back what you have heard using as few words as possible? That sort of empathetic listening helps students to feel like they really have been heard, which accomplishes miracles in terms of helping them to safely release troubled feelings. Empathetic awareness helps teachers to ascertain when the problem isn't the problem. Terry Hendricks started challenging other boys at school to play a game of chicken with him in their cars. The idea was to find a remote road and place two cars 500 yards apart facing each other. Then, when the signal was given, the two drivers would gun their cars and drive as fast as they could toward one another. The first one to swerve away to avoid the crash was the chicken. Rumors spread around the school that, within 2 weeks, Terry had chickened out 5 other boys. The school's head football coach cornered Terry one day at lunch and motioned for the boy to come sit with him at a table away from the rest of the lunch crowd. Coach Taylor said, "Terry, you're one of the best defensive tackles in the state. I need you to play ball for me next fall. Why are you playing that stupid chicken game? One of these days, you and another kid, you're going to get hurt." Terry said, "Coach, I just love the thrill of seeing the other guy's headlights get bigger and bigger, and then, just before he crashed, I impose my will over him. I love it." Coach Taylor was quiet for a few moments, and then, noticing a little water in the corner of Terry's eyes, he said, "Son, I'm not buying that. Why don't you tell me what's going on?" Terry dropped his head, then looked up and said in a soft voice, "Coach, 2 summers ago, my little brother and I were swimming at the lake. Steve is 2 years younger than me and was an even better athlete than I am. He dove off a bluff into 5 feet of water and broke his neck. It was my fault. I'm his big brother. I should have checked out the water level before he dove. He's a paraplegic now, and every time I see him at the house, I just want to die." Lots of times, when a young person engages in dangerous, illegal, or borderline criminal behavior, the problem isn't the real problem. A teacher who is willing to exercise empathetic awareness and active listening skills may play an amazing role in helping that student recognize the deeper issues that are the root cause of his bad behavior. And only when that root cause is brought to consciousness can the student be helped. Empathetic awareness compels teachers to provide students with unconditional love and care. A wise sage scribbled it on the wall of an old schoolhouse in western Kentucky. "Teach the heart, and the mind will follow." This adage, copied and posted in countless classrooms across the country, is a needed reminder that one of the most important aspects of effective education is affective education. Great educators are always looking for ways to convey a concept in a manner that touches the learner's emotions, because our emotional memories are stronger than our cognitive memories. That is why music, poems, stories, and parables can be such powerful teaching tools. Things that stir our emotions tend to stick in our minds. It's why kids who struggle trying to learn their multiplication tables can listen to a rap 2 times and then repeat every word of a 5-minute song. All of the above helps explain this observation by a school principal. "My best teachers are the ones who empathize with the joys, hurts, and pains of their students and offer them unconditional acceptance and love. Students ask for their classes, and my best test scores emanate from their rooms. Empathetically aware teachers look into the hearts of their students and see their need to be loved and wanted. When they address that need, students come to their classes and open their minds to what is being taught. Michael Sattarino was the former principal of a Dallas high school. In explaining why his campus was tabbed by Newsweek magazine as the top-performing high school in America, he said, "My teachers are aware that students don't care how much you know until they first know how much you care." Empathetic awareness compels teachers to provide students with unconditional love and care for two reasons. They are aware that kids need to be loved and wanted, and they know that kids don't want to disappoint a teacher who cares. Summing up, empathetic awareness helps teachers to address the deeper problems and concerns that occupy students' lives. Often, without being consciously aware of what he is doing, a student will engage in risky or rebellious behavior that is rooted in a loss or a tragedy that haunts the child at a level below conscious recognition. What appears on the surface to be the student's problem is not the real problem. There is some truth in the old adage about one apple spoiling the whole barrel. Attitudes are infectious. Helping that student helps every student. An angry, depressed child is not going to be a good student. Great educators know that to be effective in reaching that child, they must teach to the heart as well as to the mind. Utilizing the tools of active listening and unconditional love, empathetically aware teachers can make a huge difference in enhancing the social-emotional climate of a school. What does this have to do with academic progress? Everything. All learners on a campus, students who are below level, on level, or gifted, will perform better when provided a nurturing environment. Aware, empathetic teachers who strive to let each student know that at least one adult on the campus cares for him can push a campus beyond excellence.